Hey gang, welcome back to another Hitchcock video. Uh, Last week we pulled Frenzy out of the hat, 1972 Hitchcock masterpiece, considered his last masterpiece, but also kind of silly because it's his next to last film, so that's just setting you up for Family Plot being bad. I don't think it's bad. Anyway, it's noted as Hitchcock's last masterpiece. He was in a slump for a while, um, with the crowd, having had some uh, not warm receptions at the theater. Marnie, Torn Curtain, Topaz, which I enjoy all of. Don't think they're bad films at all, but they weren't received well. Even Vertigo wasn't received well. And then 1972 comes. We come out with Frenzy. He's back to the roots. Well, I won't say roots. Kind of. But he's back in suspense. He's back in what would be considered horror, as far as it's about a serial killer, or how they often refer to it as a serial murderer. Must be British. I don't know. Um, this is his, like I said, his next to last film, starring John Finch as our main character, who I recognized through the whole movie, which I've seen this movie numerous times, but I kept thinking, where in the fuck have I seen him? And afterwards, I finally looked it up, and he played Macbeth in Roman Polanski's Macbeth from the year before, I believe. Did I write it down? No, I didn't write it down. 71, I think, is Macbeth. Um, this is his first film shot in Britain since um, Man Who Knew Too Much's remake in 1956. He went back and shot a masterpiece. I mean, there's literally nothing wrong with this movie. It is an hour and 56 minutes, which is about par with what everything, you know. Um, it's the only film which I don't understand. I didn't go back and look about Psycho, but it's the only film to receive an R rating theatrically upon its theatrical release of Hitches, and it's because of the nudity. The dude finally got his nudity in here. God knows he probably tried his entire career, but he finally got some nudity in a movie. Um, and that's obviously what got the R rating, because there's it's done as tasteful as you can with a touchy subject of rape. It is there are 4 murders in the movie that we talk about. Um, One, there's talk of raping a victim. One victim is raped. I mean, it is shown to some degree. And after that, the next murders, they just Hitch lets you kind of know that what's going on, but doesn't film it. There's a really long backtracking shot done very good of the second victim, um, as they go into a room, and he talks for a few seconds as they go in the room. You know what's going to go on. The camera backs completely out of the building and onto the street, where you get a lot of street noise, and it's done perfect. It's typical Hitchcockian filming. It's a very well done shot. Another really good Hitchcock shot is with the second this I'm getting the numbers mixed up, but second or third victim, however you want to go, and you'll know what I'm talking about if you watch it. Um, when he goes back to retrieve an item, when the killer goes back to retrieve an item that he's lost with the body, there it's a really well done scene in the back of a truck. It's actually probably my favorite scene in the entire movie, as that's going on. The movie, I didn't even talk about what it's about. It's about a serial killer. They're calling the necktie strangler, necktie murderer. Maybe that's what it was. And what's happening is he's strangling young women with his ties. All right, and it's a very, I don't know, it's, what was the quote? There was a quote I wanted to say about this, this is a quote from our main character, okay? It's one of my favorite movie line quotes in any movie. It's great. They're talking about, he's trying to convince his girlfriend that he's not the murderer, even though he's in the paper as being the murderer. It's like, do I look like a sex murderer to you? Can you imagine me creeping around London, strangling all those women with ties? That's ridiculous. To start, I only own two. That's just, I mean, it's one of those, like, pause the movie, laugh out loud moments for me. But yeah. If you haven't seen this movie, I highly recommend it. This is, like I said, it's the next to last of Hitch's movies before he dies. It is a very, very good movie. I do highly recommend you to check out the trailer for this. That one of the kind of trailers that Hitch is actually in talking instead of just a movie trailer. It's got a dummy of him floating down the Thames River, and then it goes close up, and obviously it's not the dummy anymore. It's him laying in water and telling about the movie, and it's classic. It's just classic Hitchcock stuff. I'd really like to know what you guys think of Frenzy. It is quite possibly, once we redo these top 10s at the end of these videos, it quite possibly might jump up quite a lot. It is a very well done movie. It is a very enjoyable movie, and one of his best as far as murder, with the thriller side instead of a lot of espionage and stuff like that. Suspense, thriller, and all that. So, box, hat, dump. Let's see what we watch for next week. Yes. Wanting something. I want to watch Jimmy again. I want to watch something with Jimmy. Here it is. Here we go. Be cool if I pulled Man Who Knew Too Much. Either version would be cool. Or something silent. Something silent would be good. Something silent. Not very many I haven't seen that I own, but there still could be. The Birds. I can see it backwards in there. Alright, we'll watch The Birds. It's in this box set as well. Oh, Tippy. Next week, The Birds. Super classic. People that don't know Hitchcock from The Birds. So, I'll see you then. Later.